It makes you wonder, what if the most profound healing isn't actually found when you're alone, seeking solitude?
Mm.
What if it happens in the most unexpected places, maybe even public ones? Like, what if getting completely lost is precisely how you find yourself again?
That's a fascinating thought to start with.
Well, welcome everyone to our deep dive today. We're getting into Alison Espach's really quite poignant novel, The Wedding People.
And we're not just, skimming the plot. We've really gone through a lot of material for this
Oh,
one.
yeah. Critical reviews, literary analyses, author interviews, definitely, and even some relevant psychological perspectives on grief and connection.
We wanted to bring you some fresh insights, really try to understand why this particular book hits home for so many people.
Exactly. Our mission, if you like, is to unpack the surprising wisdom kind of hidden in its pages, especially maybe if you're navigating some uncertainty yourself.
And what's so striking right from the get-go is how Espach sets the scene. It's quite deliberate.
Yeah.
We meet our main character, Phoebe Stone, and she arrives at this place, the Cornwall Inn. It's described as, grand, almost theatrical, in Newport, Rhode Island.
And she's alone. You picture her, striking green dress, gold heels.
But conspicuously luggage-free.
Right. And that's the immediate twist, isn't it? The sources really pick up on this. She has absolutely zero intention of being a wedding guest.
None at all. But then someone mistakes her for one.
And she just goes along with it.
She does. It's this quiet, almost immediate act of, well, subversion. Maybe.
Yeah, or just acceptance of the absurd. And it's crucial, like you said, for the whole book. The critics point this out.
Absolutely. This is not your typical mistaken identity rom-com. Not at all.
No, it's something far more subtle, much more intimate, and deeply, deeply human.
And the sources consistently emphasize she isn't just, wandering around a fancy hotel. She is actively fleeing.
Fleeing. Okay, fleeing what, though?
Well, she's escaping something recent and just devastating. The sudden death of her partner. A man who, by all accounts, was the absolute core of her world. And the author interviews, they confirm Espach really intended Phoebe's arrival there, not as a choice, not a vacation.
But as an act of desperation.
Pretty much. An act of self-preservation. After this emotional earthquake, she just finds herself completely unable to face her old life.
The routines, the well-meaning calls.
Yeah, answering condolences, processing the pain through any kind of normal ritual. It's impossible for her.
So this trip to Newport, it's not about finding comfort.
No, it's more about finding a void. A place where she doesn't have to be the grieving partner, where she could just disappear for a bit.
But ironically, instead of the solitude she might have craved, she gets tangled up with these complete strangers.
Or wedding people, exactly.
And that's where it gets really insightful, isn't it? What the analyses reveal about this entanglement.
It's the absolute heart of the novel. One review nailed it, saying it's not the bride and groom who change her life.
Right.
It's the quiet, sometimes accidental conversations she has with these other, fellow misfits, you could say.
That makes sense psychologically, too, doesn't it? Sometimes connecting with strangers feels safer.
It does. Some psychological studies suggest that profound healing can happen in those spaces, with people who don't carry the weight of your shared history, who offer this fresh, unburdened space for connection.
People carrying their own stuff, too.
Oh, absolutely. These are other guests with their own stories, their own silent heartbreaks, their own needs, just like Phoebe.
And it's quite an ensemble she meets. There's this young guy.
Yeah, who's obsessed with the idea of love, but seems terrified of actual commitment.
And a woman who's clearly at some kind of crossroads in her own marriage.
Yes. And an elderly gentleman who just seems to radiate this quiet wisdom about grief, like he knows more than he's letting on.
And then the big one, someone from her past shows up.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally unexpected. And literary analysis suggests this encounter acts as a real catalyst.
How so?
It sort of cracks open that protective shell she's built around herself. It's not about a grand reunion, necessarily.
More like Emmon tallying up a mirror.
Exactly. An unexpected mirror she wasn't ready for.
So all weekend, these wedding celebrations are happening around her. You imagine the noise, the music.
Like a distant hum, yeah. Laughter, clinking glasses.
But Phoebe's kind of on the fringe, watching, questioning, maybe dipping a toe in sometimes.
But always grappling with those huge questions she can't avoid anymore.
Like what actually happens to love after someone dies? And what happens to the person who's left?
And Espach's genius, which so many critics highlight, is showing us Phoebe's state not just through what she does, but through the sheer weight of what she doesn't say. Her grief isn't loud or dramatic. It's nuanced, hesitant, deeply real.
She doesn't know how to move on.
Or even if she wants to move on, it's a brilliant portrayal of what psychologists might call disenfranchised grief.
Where society expects one thing, but your reality is messy and doesn't fit the mold.
Precisely.
So if we pull back and look at the bigger picture here, based on everything we've looked at, The Wedding People isn't really a story about despair, is it?
No, not fundamentally. At its core, it's this profound story of a very gentle reawakening.
And it kind of subverts the usual grief story, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. One essay called it Espach's masterful subversion of that linear, step-by-step grief journey we sometimes expect.
There are no big declarations, no easy fixes.
None. Healing in this story, and often in life, as psychology suggests, doesn't arrive in a sudden wave or a single aha moment.
It's smaller.
Much smaller, quieter. It comes in these little moments. A shared glance, maybe a memory surfaces, an unexpectedly honest confession between strangers.
And through those interactions, very slowly.
Very slowly, yeah. Phoebe starts to feel these first tiny flickers of something that might be hope.
It's almost like that idea of post-traumatic growth where disorientation can actually lead somewhere new.
Exactly. That disorientation can, strangely, become a pathway to a new kind of understanding.
So The Wedding People, it really feels like a deeply humane look at grief, at identity, at second chances.
Absolutely. That's a consistent theme from all the sources we looked at. It's a powerful statement about finding light, even when you're surrounded by darkness.
It dares to exist in those in-between places, doesn't it?
That's a great way to put it. What one critic called the liminal spaces.
Between loss and healing.
Between strangers and maybe soulmates. Between endings and new beginnings. It shows that real transformation often happens right there in those blurry lines.
Alison Espach gives us something quiet and elegant, not melodrama. It's like a meditation on starting over.
Even when you're not sure you want to, or even can.
And through Phoebe, we're kind of reminded that healing, it doesn't require perfection.
No, it just requires presence. Showing up, even when it's hard.
And that sorrow can exist right alongside celebration. It finds its place.
Yeah, it finds its own kind of gentle belonging, even amidst the party.
It's such a subtle, powerful idea. Sometimes being mistaken for someone else.
Is exactly what you need to remember who you actually are. Or who you could become.
Phoebe's journey really is from escape to this quiet kind of acceptance.
Yeah, from just surviving to almost gaining permission. Permission to live again.
She faces the silence. She faces other people's laughter when she can't laugh yet.
And she dances.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes awkwardly, sometimes tenderly, with both memory and possibility. She hasn't just survived. She started to truly live again by the end.
So maybe as you reflect on this deep dive, it's worth considering. Like, think about those times in your own life. The seemingly wrong turns, the accidental encounters. Could they actually be leading you somewhere unexpected?
Towards understanding, maybe. Or connection.
Yeah.
Or just a quiet reawakening of who you're really meant to be.